that too bright? Nah. Hey everybody, Alexander Morgan here, but my friends call me Schmorgel. Today we're just gonna have a super chill hang by this window and break down everything Hasty. I'm gonna talk about how the song came to be, dive into the session a bit, show you what's going on under the hood, and just talk about what it's like to shoot a video during a global health crisis. YouTube is so weird about people saying that it doesn't matter. So the song actually has a sort of lengthy conception, and I thought it might be interesting to some of you. Let's go ahead and start from the very beginning. So somewhere around the June or July area of 2019, I was hired by an old friend, Matt Morgan, no relation whatsoever, to write and perform music for his circus show. Matt and his wife Heidi are amazing circus performers and produce and host these really cool shows that they perform around the world. This particular show was the 2019 Rochester Fringe Festival. Bonus is that I got to perform the show with NOARU member and just generally badass musician Ashley Ball. So in the show, the idea was to write original concepts for each act, sort of being in dialogue with the performers in order to create the right sound. Sounds for awesome acts like jugglers, aerialists, magicians, yo-yoists, lasso, basically all kinds of stuff. And it was particularly exciting because I could really dig into some experimental concepts. I should mention that this was before I took Andrew Huang's class, so I was not very experienced with producing. Like at all. Somehow, I think this kind of added to the charm of Hasty overall. Speaking of, Hasty was born out of this awesome act done by Hermes Mulliken. He's a master of balancing acts, and we were working on a piece where he free climbs a very tall ladder and then balances on the top of it. It was amazing. He's crazy good. Vibe-wise, I thought it was a good opportunity to reinforce this urgency, this sense of danger. So I immediately went to a super fast tempo, got some glitchy sounds, did a lot of compression. The main sound of the track actually came from experimenting with this, the organelle. Critter and Guitari makes these really cool synths that have open source software. You may have noticed this on Bad Snack's channel. I think she used this a ton for her violins. So there are a ton of preloaded samples on this that you can totally re-record or put whatever you want in. But I was trying to learn the sampler built within and just sort of experimented and accidentally found this kind of crazy groove. I'm gonna try and recreate it, but I don't know how successful I'll be. It was sort of like my first step into what I think modular synthesis is like, where you kind of just hit record, keep playing stuff, and it sort of just magically happens in the moment, and that's kind of it. Hopefully you were recording. After finding that core little snippet, the rest of the song sort of just fell into place. I knew with all this bright percussion, super trebly, glitchy noises, that the bass was gonna have to do a lot of the heavy lifting here. After sound designing the bass, that was the skeleton of the whole track. Naturally, my next impulse was to put a bunch of sparkly, arpeggiated synths over it. Actually performing this live and getting the samples right, one of my friends says it sounds like leveling up in a video game, which, all for that nerd stuff. Yeah, I'm level 20. Another great piece of the puzzle was this flute sample I found. Hermes' other act involved a lot of flute sounds, so I wanted to bring some of those into this track to sort of keep some cohesion. So I just slowly dialed all these pieces in and just kept building the structure. The structure was kind of born out of the act, in fact. It's a very atypical song format, and its DNA very much comes from the act itself, like literally him climbing the ladder and it just stacking on top and on top and on top of itself. This was also the foundation of the lyrics. Actually, the very first line was all I had for quite a while. Anybody help me? Try and be a little bit less hasty. It's sort of funny because this song, out of all the songs in the show, took the longest to develop. So the lyrics were kind of reminding me to, take a step back, really be patient with the process of the song and not be too hasty. I'm not proud of the pun. I'm not. The chorus of the song was originally just the line, keep looking forward, don't look down. Keep looking forward, don't look down. I just kept repeating that, a very literal manifestation of what was happening on stage.
Keep moving forward, don't look down. Keep moving forward, don't look down.
I kept that line in there as an homage to the original version. It also sort of felt like the metaphor held up after I developed the song. The story really being about the dialogue between one's impulsive self and the restrained self. You know, do you follow your impulses, or through observing them, do you keep them at bay? The very last section of the song, the sort of shuffly groove part, for the show, it didn't exactly build the right way. We needed a bigger crescendo, a sort of explosive finish, where he literally does a backflip off the ladder. When I was getting back into the song, I really missed this groove, so for my purposes, it needed to be back in. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So the show happened, it went great. I took Andrew's class, moved to LA, blah, 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 blah. Time passes, and Graham of Small Media Large reaches out to me. We talked about what we could potentially do, how we didn't have any budget whatsoever, and then I just sent him some unfinished songs. I think I sent him a few, and at the very end of the list was what is now known as Hasty, and he really dug it. He was actually insistent that we use that song. I was like, oh crap, that's very unfinished. And not only was it unfinished, but man, is that an ugly session. I really had to undo a lot of the mess I made, but we got there. Fast forward to July of this year, and the team comes out west. This was my first bit of collaboration while being masked, if you know what I mean, and so it was a little tricky to navigate that. Luckily, they were on another shoot for a really cool band called Time King, and they had a lot of safety protocols over there. So I did my stuff, they did theirs, and we came together and just isolated and shot the thing. I was able to procure an empty yoga studio, and the ideas sort of began to percolate from there. We knew we could take advantage of the low light, cover all the windows, and I think it hit Graham first that we should do an interrogation scene. That was lining up with what I was thinking narratively, the apprehensive side of my brain being picked apart by the impulsive side. Nice, that was great. Okay. The vibe just kind of fit, so we went with it. Oh, there was also just a really cool forest that we wanted to shoot in. I'm actually very impressed that Graham was able to find some sort of narrative threads there, because honestly, we just thought it looked cool. It sort of ended up being this internal cerebral world for the interrogated character. It turned out to be pretty effective in my mind, and some of my favorite parts of the whole video. So after only 2 days of shooting and a lot of Super Smash sessions at night, we got the thing done. I seriously gotta thank them so much for taking a chance on me, flying out and driving down to me, and just making this whole thing work. It was very much a yes and process, and those sort of environments seem to be the most creative to me.
The wrap, we did it. Morgul, Hasty.
Done. Never again.
That'd be really weird if we shot another music video for Hasty.
Excellent work, my friend. Anyway, you can tell that I'm just super stoked that this exists, and it was a really cool process. If you haven't listened to the song yet, I'll leave some links below. You can listen to it on all the streaming platforms, like literally all of them. And let me know what you think about this sort of breakdown format. If you'd like to see these for some other songs, leave a like. Let me know in the comments. If this is not for you, a dislike's also okay. But either way, if you want more videos, it really helps if you subscribe. I actually found out that like over half of YouTube viewers are not subscribed to the channels they watch. I'm a culprit of this too, I'll admit it. So if you're coming back a lot and haven't subscribed yet, it really does go a long way. Thank you in advance, and I appreciate it. With all that said, happy November. You'll also notice that I've released this on a Monday instead of Tuesday. That's because tomorrow is Election Day. It felt really inappropriate to me to release anything on Election Day, so that's why it's a little bit early. And I just want to take this moment to say, take care of yourself over the next few days. This election is a massive deal, which is something that does not need reiterating. But what does need reiterating is that it's a really stressful time for everybody. And it's so important, more than ever, to really take care of your mental health. You don't need to be plugged into every news outlet, every social media platform. Get away from a screen for a bit, which is very hypocritical of me to say, but I will definitely be doing the same. Again, just take care of yourself over the next few days, and hopefully those circumstances will be easier than not. Much love to all of you. Take care.